Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the PantyNectar podcast, your host, PantyNectar.
Hello, and good morning. What a great day it is for another episode of the PantyNectar podcast. We have some pretty big announcements today.
Big announcements.
But
I'm kind of nervous a little bit about this.
Does that give you some chills?
Yeah,
but before we get into that, we are actually going to talk about some other stuff real quick.
What are we going to talk about, PantyNectar?
So one of those things was your jacket.
My jacket.
I love your jacket.
Yeah.
One way or another, Mr. P and I always end up matching each other.
I just noticed that. How did you, you're, not only are you wearing a black jacket, your black jacket doesn't have white on it like mine does, but your little shirt does.
I wear my tank top.
It's cold in
again.
here and your nipples are rock hard.
Dude, it's
hot.
Freezing.
Yeah.
Literally so cold in here.
It's hot.
But I noticed when we sat down, that's why I was waiting to say something on the podcast. I noticed we sat down and we were matching, and Mr. P loves when we match.
Well, here we are. Matching. So thank you for this compliment right here. This is on the jacket, this is a Mike and the Moon Pies tour jacket.
I love that, actually.
It's like what is this style? It's like a track jacket or some shit like that. It's like
bomber's jacket or something.
Yeah, it's not really the style that I usually roll with, but hey, I like it and I like those guys a lot and I support them and support artists in general and really enjoy the satiny jacket. I think it is satin. As a matter of fact,
it's very nice. It's actually very nice.
See, yours is dull a little bit. Mine's shiny.
Mine is soft, so like butter first soft. Is yours soft on the inside?
Yeah, it's very soft actually, and I like it a lot.
Speaking of clothing, we were just talking this morning about how I went to start a load of laundry, and I was like, man, I never wash panties anymore. I just casually said that, and I was like, no, seriously, I can't remember the last time I washed a pair of panties, and everyone listening is like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? But I just sell them. So I wear them, and then someone wants them when I wear them, and so I just never have to wash them. I just vacuum seal them and send them on their way. So it's just funny.
You're walking in with a laundry basket, and you're like, oh, like I never wash my panties anymore. And I turn around, I'm like, what? Like, what? I was like, oh yeah, I guess because they're always going out to people, and people always want them. So
I know
your dirty panties have been
panties
traveled the world.
They have been over to the Netherlands. I think I've sent panties. Like it's pretty crazy. I wish that I would have kept track from the beginning so I could like almost have a PantyNectar map and pin every state or city that my panties are in, because they're all over.
And then most of the 50 states, for sure.
They're going to come out with a poll. 75% of U.S. Americans have a pair of PantyNectar panties.
That's a lot of people, man. We're getting into the hundreds of millions at that point. But who knows? I was very shocked with that. So you were talking about millions and millions of people in the United States. You have a big thing going on that we've been working on that you have wanted to announce, and that we are going to take this time today to do so, PantyNectar.
Yes. So, Mr. P and I have been talking about this for a while. And I feel like ideas are just that unless you act on them. They're just ideas. And so, we've both been working really hard to provide something to the PantyNectar community that reaches into the Web3 space. And so PantyNectar is going to be launching a 100 collection of unique NFTs.
ERC721.
21 tokens, which means they're completely unique. Everyone is going to be different. They're going to have very tasteful artwork. And the best part about that is I am going to be personally signing and numbering each NFT.
Yes.
I'm very excited about that because we're going to get it on video. I know we were kind of talking last night about how we're going to do it. I'm very excited to, we're only doing 100 of them. There's only going to be 100 of these NFTs that you're going to be able to purchase. not even purchase. That's the great thing about this. You're not even going to have to purchase these NFTs. We are actually going to airdrop them into your wallet to qualify for that per se. We are going to be, you guys will be entering your wallet addresses into the website, PantyNectar.com/NFT. You can find out more there. But that's where you guys will enter your wallet address. We'll be looking at your wallets, figuring out what kind of stuff you're into. And if you're into crypto, if you're into that Web3 stuff, because we really want to have people that, one, support the PantyNectar community, obviously. But we also want to give to those that want to support the Web3 community, the NFT community, everything that makes this what it is. So we want to be able to give back. And so the PantyNectar 100 is how we're going to do that. I'm super excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited too, PantyNectar. And it's a big deal. We've been talking about NFTs since last year, like a year ago, like early last year. I was trying to remember what podcast it was when we first talked about it, but it was maybe even late 2021. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be... It's like you said, there's only 100 tokens. They're all ERC 721. The collection is the PantyNectar 100. That's what we're calling it. So it's PantyNectar's Genesis NFT. And you talked about wanting to give back to the crypto community. That's why, we've kind of decided to, how do we get, we're only doing 100 of these, right? So it's really important to know that these have to go to people that understand Web3 and understand how to take care of their digital assets. Because in Web3, it's decentralized, and for the most part, it is. That's what everybody's kind of trying to go for. And so, you're ultimately responsible for your wallet, right? There is no middleman. There's no bank you can call to say, hey, I got locked out of my account. I lost my computer and I lost my password or private keys. You get in the wrong situation, that stuff's gone forever. Now, it'll still live on the blockchain, but, no one would be able to buy or sell or transfer or trade or do anything else with that. I got into the NFT space early 2021, and but crypto back in 2017. There was a hot bull run back in 2017 into 2018, and that's when I first got into it. But I kind of been following it for a while. Surprisingly, my mom, of all people, has been into Bitcoin since 2013 or 14. So it's always just been an interest, but I've really, really come to better understand it, over the past few years. Crypto, NFTs, Web3, it is it's an incredibly complex system, a complex network. And there have been people working on this stuff for a long time now. And, over the past few years, the world has come to know Bitcoin, right? And Ethereum, and other cryptos. But there have been people working on that long before. And the cool part about the crypto community is a lot of people are anonymous there. And a lot of people are really working in the crypto community, not to enrich themselves, but to better the world. We've talked about, just how much crypto means and what Web3 means and what NFTs mean, and not the artwork of an NFT per se. That's how it's being used now, and it's fantastic. That's how we're going to be using it, right? But the utility that NFTs offer and the advancements that will be built on top of this technology, it's unbelievable.
Isn't there already, is it like Wisconsin or something that, to put it in layman terms, has created an LLC under this DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, and they plan to create these cities where everyone has a vote per this NFT you've purchased to be a community member in this town. So if anything needs to happen in that town, we want to put in a grocery store, we want to do this. Everyone that is a member of that city per that NFT that can be verified will have a vote in that. And so I think the cool thing about the NFTs and about just crypto in general is the power that it's going to have towards the people. I think is very
100%. And DAOs are just one little aspect of that. I think we all drank a little too much hopium for the DAOs early on, and it looks like that there needs to be some more advancement in order for DAOs to be able to really be built out. They function okay in their intended purpose now for what people are using them for, but it's real small scale stuff right now to get to where we can have cities run under a DAO. We're pretty far off from that, but people are working on that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing,
and we're supporting that Web3 world that allows that research to continue. And
people are working on that, and people are working on some crazy things. And if there's and the thing is like a lot of this stuff, it'll get forgotten about, won't work, and we'll move on from it. But some of these things are going to stick forever, and they're going to be life-changing. They're going to be world changing forever, changing the dynamic of how we interact with each other and how we buy, sell, and trade and prove digital ownership. So, one thing that we decided was the V1 CryptoPunks. I first heard about the V1 CryptoPunks early, it's 23 now, right? So this was early 2022, so about a year ago, and in January. And so CryptoPunks are like, a lot of people think they're the first NFT collection. They're not the first NFTs, but they're kind of the ones that paved the way, and the 10,000, NFTs in a collection, and the PFP. So they're very iconic. There's the CryptoPunks. There's the CryptoPunks, in my opinion, and then there's everything else. That debate will go on forever, but that's just the way I feel about it. And so the CryptoPunks have been, in 2017 they were created, and then in late 2021, early 2022, come to find out, which it was at that point, it was made real publicly known, that there was actually a previous version of the CryptoPunks than the ones that were being traded. And so the CryptoPunks that we all know and love at that point were actually the version 2 of CryptoPunks. There was a version 1 of CryptoPunk that precedes the version 2 by about 2 weeks. Each token's a little bit different, but they're roughly about 2 weeks older. The version 1s are. And what happened is in the smart contract, there was a flaw in the contract, and it made it to where the contract could be exploited in a sense to where when someone was selling an NFT, the person who was selling it, they would sell the NFT, but the person could also get back their ETH. So the person, and Hemba, who's a legend and in the space, especially in the CryptoPunk community, everybody knows Hemba. He was the one who initially found that exploit, and it was written about in a Mashable article, I believe back in 2017, and maybe later. I would have to check that, but it was a Mashable article, and so we know that these guys have diamond hands, right? That's what they call it in the crypto space, to where like they know, I know that these people know how to take care of their digital assets, and they're real collectors, right? Like these people aren't out there for the fucking fame and fortune and shit. Like they're there for the culture. And we're here for the culture. So we feel that it's only right to allocate a certain amount for the CryptoPunk community. So there will be a private, so the dates are, the airdrop is going to happen on
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Dun, dun.
Happy Valentine's Day to all you that are going to get this airdrop. So the airdrop happens on Valentine's Day. You can submit your wallet address to PantyNectar.com/NFT
/NFT
on February 9th. So that will open on the morning of February 9th. So be on the lookout for that to submit your wallet address. And then the CryptoPunks, we're going to open up, have a private registration the day before. We're going to open it up the day before. And I'll mention that in the CryptoPunk V1 Punks Discord. And so it's going to be a big deal. And we wanted to make sure that it was free.
Yeah.
Because the NFT space in Web3, you know, is unfortunately there's been too many people use it for nefarious purposes and, you know, basically just like straight up scamming people.
Cash grabs,
rug pulls, whatever the case may be. And that's one thing I've been thinking about. Like, how do we make sure that, like, you know, because I wanted to make it to where people could mint the NFT so they could go and they could do it themselves. And have that special, so they could have that special moment. But then I thought, you know, like, even if we make the NFT free, they still have to pay gas. And so I was like, you know, like, I don't even want that. I don't want people to think that, you know, we wouldn't be profiting whatsoever off that with it being free. But the best way that we thought that we could do it would be just strictly an airdrop.
Airdrops.
So it's going to be airdropped on February 14th.
Day.
So we're really excited for that.
My gift to you for all the love on Valentine's Day. Yes, we are super excited about that. If you, you know, have heard Mr. P and I in the past, we're big Gary V fans. Some of you are going, yay. Some of you are going, oh, now. And I felt that way too. But
it took me 4 months to listen to Gary V.
Yeah, he was kind of hard for me to listen to. But then, you know, you and I started really listening to his podcast. What is it? The Gary V.
Gary V. Audio Experience.
On Apple Podcasts. And, you know, when you listen to his podcast, like, there's a lot of good information there about how to grow a business, about how to stop giving a fuck what everyone thinks. And like, just he posts so many podcasts. So if you are familiar with Gary V, then you guys know about V Friends. That was a big thing. What was that? 2 years ago?
May of 21.
So we are big V Friends. We love how Gary V went about all that and really paved a lot of the way for other people to do their businesses. And then he also branched out into Flyfish Club, which is a membership, really cool utility NFT. So this NFT actually has a utility. So you use it like as a membership to go to this restaurant. It's very cool. So if you want to learn more about that stuff, you can check out those people. Check out Flyfish Club, Gary V Friends, all of that. Lots of good information about NFT stuff.
Yeah, you know, I had to say, I mean, Gary was solely the reason that I got into the NFT space. And he was talking about, I wish I would have bought a CryptoPunk when he started talking about him.
Right.
You know, and it was, but you know, that's when but he was saying, you know, you just got to start an OpenSea account and go on. And this was early 2021. Start an OpenSea account and go on, buy some NFTs, just so you can get your fingers dirty a little bit, see how to do it. That's where that NFT comes from.
The picture,
the music heroes there, Hank Williams. And but yeah, Gary was very instrumental in bringing a lot of people into the space, you know. But just to be clear, I mean, the NFT space was very, very robust and established long before Gary got involved. Yeah. And Gary does not, you know, I think a lot of people, you know, there's the argument of like, did Gary create the NFT space? It's like Gary never even talks about, you know, he's like, he appreciates the NFT space. He appreciates Web3, and he has built his own little ecosystem within that. But he acknowledges that it's like the success of NFTs and Web3 were you know, predetermined whether Gary V even existed or not. You know, I mean, it's people like John and Matt who created CryptoPunks,
right,
and Autoglyphs and Meebits and these guys that are like true visionaries in this space. It's Satoshi Nakamoto who created Bitcoin.
I was going to say Vitalik.
Who we don't even know who Satoshi is. It's Vitalik Buterin. These guys that are like really, and so many others that I don't know the names of, right? I mean, that are truly changing the way the world works. And they're doing it because, you know, they have good hearts. So,
and I think perspective too, like having the perspective of good people that want good things for the world, and everything. I think it's important to support that.
100%. Which is why we're here, PantyNectar. Is why we're going to be doing the PantyNectar 100. February 14th.
We're going to have, you guys will see some very iconic NFTs just to give you a little sneak peek on those. If you are familiar with everything, the PantyNectar brand, then we're going to have some artwork in the weekending shirt. We're going to have some artwork with some bananas, maybe. So there's going to be what?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I was just going to mention that it kind of came to me that people listening right now, we have fans all over the world that are thinking, well, hey, what if I just wanted to buy one? If you want to buy one, these are going to be airdrops, so you can't buy one initially. But some of the people who get airdropped these NFTs may decide to sell them. So they own that digital asset. Now, once we send it out, we no longer own it. It's gone. It's away from us. So if they choose to sell it, people will be able to go on OpenSea or LooksRare or wherever else and purchase one of the PantyNectar 100 NFTs.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see what the community decides as far as like what's more valuable,
Right. They're like the weekending shirt. Mr. P's like, no.
Yeah, I want it to be the banana.
I'm excited. I'm very, very excited for, that we are just jumping into this and making it happen. Yeah. And I hope that the community appreciates that as well.
And I hope that it can also pave the way for other creators too, because like creators have been using NFTs to sell their content, which is fantastic. That's what these are essentially digital tickets in a way, so it only makes sense to use it that way. But I hope that this paves the way for creators, some at least, to say, hey, like I don't have to go just sell my shit out there. I can do that. That's great. But I am instead going to give something to the community.
Right.
And just put it out there, and who knows what's to come of it. We'll find out. And
I'm super grateful for our community. Just to touch on that real quick, I'm so grateful. Like we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be doing NFTs. Well, we might still be doing NFTs, but it wouldn't have the impact that it does. So I'm very grateful for the community and for all the support. Like we have our mods that are in Discord are really amazing.
Yeah.
This space has, I think we're almost at 30,000 people in Discord.
Yep.
And I could not do it without the mods that are in there helping me. So shout out to you guys for keeping the community safe and authentic and fun. I really appreciate that. I appreciate all the likes, comments, messages, DMs, chats, everything so much. So thank you guys for continuing to support the PantyNectar community.
And you bring up Discord, and Discord has been very instrumental in Web3. It's like where all the NFT stuff really goes down at.
Yeah.
Because communities are built within Discord. And I just wanted to mention, if people are wondering right now, that they're thinking, hey, I want to submit my ETH address to, get one of these airdrop potentially. And you may be wondering if there's a roadmap for this, like what we have planned for the PantyNectar 100 NFT.
Right.
And just to be clear, there is no roadmap.
Yeah.
The roadmap is the NFT drops. The roadmap is you sign up for it on February 9th. And the NFT gets airdropped on the 14th, and the artwork is out there. This is strictly for the art and for the culture.
Yeah.
There's no promises that, anything's going to be done. There's the utility. Now we're going to do things like integrate, a members section in the Discord for people who have the NFT, and so the community can get together there, strictly the holders. But there's no roadmap. This is strictly to put the art out there, and you either appreciate it as a collector or you don't. And there's no harm, no foul there. If you don't like our stuff, then there's no worries. you don't have to get an NFT.
So yes, look out on February 9th to be able to submit your wallet address. That's going to be on pantynectar.com/NFT. We are very excited about that. And then I will talk to all you guys on Valentine's Day when you guys get airdropped NFTs.
We're so excited.
Very excited. All right. See you guys.
See ya.